Yeah,
What
sorry.
is
I'll
this, an
try to be.
amateur? What is this, an amateur podcast? Come on.
I mean, it kind of is. I'm over here.
No.
I'm over here fucking sweating a bet out on an NBA play. Freaking Isaiah Stewart on the Detroit Pistons, 9 points, or not 9 points, 9 rebounds. Bro had 9 rebounds in the third quarter, hasn't played a fucking minute in the fourth yet. And then I just sat down to record with you, and now I'm checking to see if it cashed.
Dude, we should do
Oh, they
we
put
should
him
have
in.
done a recap.
Wait, he got the 10th. Oh, wait, it's blurred. All right, fuck it. He got the 10th. So all right, good start to the episode. Fucking I cashed.
With that being said, welcome to
Questionable locks.
for some reason I always think it's unpredictable, but you know what?
I
We'll roll
mean,
with it.
pretty much is the NFL season is an unpredictable like landscape.
I
That,
know, because if you
that
look back to last week, I mean, there was a lot of like weird games last week. I mean, this isn't a recap, but some of the weird ones I just want to go over real quick. Packers Lions. I mean, I think I called MCDC just because, and I was like, if
you
the
did. You're
Lions are
right
able to
about that
control
one.
the,
I thought Aaron Rodgers was gonna do Aaron Rodgers things, but I forget every year Rodgers throws picks against the Lions.
and then the next one we were both probably shocked about, Bills Jets.
I mean, it looks like Josh Allen might need to get Tommy John. So we were seeing a pitcher, we were seeing a quarterback out there with a bum elbow, still trying to make things happen. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Jets played a hell of a game. Sauce Gardner did his thing in the secondary, but I mean, good win for the Jets. Good win for the Jets. I'm not going to
Good
say
win, Jet.
anything negative about it.
And then there's only two more we really have to go over because we talked about it because we thought they would be some shockers. Vikings Commanders. We thought Taylor Heineke would,
Yeah, I was
get,
all aboard on the Heineken train.
I mean, it was close though. I mean,
I mean,
it was.
but I also took the over on his passing yards. It was only 228. Was a little bit short of that. So like I was really all in on Heineken this week.
And then, oh, that was it for surprise games. All the rest of them were just close. Titans Chiefs. I don't think we expected that one to be as close as it was.
No, but the
And
yeah,
and then Buccaneers Rams, another close one.
that
I
game
think
looked
we
like
both were.
boring.
It was. I watched it. It was boring. All
Yeah.
right. With that being said, Rye wanted to introduce some new segments.
Oh, I was gonna do that near the end.
Oh, I guess we're doing that at the end. All right. So jumping into week 10, starting off with the week Thursday night football, Falcons Panthers.
Where God strikes
God, I don't want.
down yet again with another shitty matchup. This is prime
Oh,
time, and they're like, "Yeah, give me the Falcons, give me the Panthers."
um, give me the Falcons, I guess. I
I mean, I don't know how the Panthers do last week again.
They lost 21-42 against the Bengals
Okay, yeah, I was gonna
with Jamar Chase out.
yeah, I was gonna say they've been playing with some spunk, but to get their ass beat like that, there's no spunk, there's no life. I thought like they were having a second life after McCaffrey, but if you're still not gonna get the ball to your weapons like DJ Moore, they're not gonna do anything. And the Falcons could just give the ball to Cordell Patterson again and just let him go up the middle.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with the Falcons.
The Falcons.
First game of Sunday. This one's in Germany, right? Seahawks Buccaneers.
Yeah, Guten Tag.
Guten Tag. I
It's
don't see the Buccaneers going on a roll. Give me the Seahawks. Geno Smith, baby.
it it all depends because Tom Brady might be even more inspired to catch the early bird special after this one with how old he's becoming.
That
Age
is
is
true.
a factor.
And he is undefeated since being divorced.
And he's on a tear.
He's on a tear,
The
baby.
lawsuit, that would be crazy.
Because I mean that it was impressive watching
Kenneth
him on.
Walker's being a dude. Germany loves Geno Smith. I'd seen something on Snapchat earlier where they like made a mural of Geno Smith before coming to Germany. The Seahawks just have more going for them, honestly, at this point. I mean, the Buccaneers are becoming more and more healthy. Actually, no. What the
And
fuck am I saying? Give me the Bucks. Give me the Bucks.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
Brady
they
looked
have no
pretty
run
good
game.
on that.
But their receivers are back.
I mean, I think they went like 75 yards in 45 seconds last week. So, I mean, they were looking good. If they can keep that momentum, they could pull this out. But with the Seahawks offense the way it is right now, I'm still rolling with the Seahawks on that one.
Yeah.
Next up, oh my God, another bore at
I
10
mean,
a.m.
not necessarily.
Lions Bears.
This is not a bore with how Justin Fields has been playing lately. And which Lions are we going to get? Because we know which Bears off. I know what we're getting from the Bears.
Yeah.
We're getting an okay defense with a shitty offensive line, and Justin Fields is going to be scurrying around in the backfield fighting for his life to make a play so that everybody leaves the game thinking that he's the greatest player in the world that watched. But then you look at the stat sheet and you're like, this guy is the actual worst. But Fields has been hot the past few weeks. The Lions are not that good of a team, but every now and then they're able to play offense. So this one could be a high scoring shootout that would just be amazing to watch. But the NFL almost never works that way.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with MCDC because I feel like they have a lot of wind in their sails after that Green Bay win. I know it's not the same Packers as always, but still, I mean, you beat the Packers, especially when you're a bad team like the Lions who've just been losing throughout the season. Give me the Lions. I'm gonna roll with MCDC this week.
I think the Lions will keep it close. I will even say that they'll probably be leading for the first half, maybe the first three quarters. But the Lions are going to be the Lions. Do I love MCDC? Yes. But do I love what Justin Fields is doing even more and wish that he was on the 49ers instead of Trey Lance? 100%. But I'm going to have to ride with the Bears.
So 50-50. We'll see who wins that one. Next up, a game that for some reason I feel it's gonna have a weird score. Browns Dolphins. The Dolphins should win this, but for some reason, I have a feeling it's gonna be like Vikings Commanders last week. For whatever reason, the Browns are gonna be able to hang in there. But it's still the Browns, so I don't see them pulling this out. But still, it's just gonna be a weird game.
Yeah. I mean, it really all depends on if Tua could get the ball to his receivers, because if he can, they're gonna be all over the field, spreading the ball around. They're gonna get their touchdowns. And then the Browns, I mean, if they don't hit Amari Cooper or Peoples Jones like really consistently and their run game isn't working, their offense is gonna be stopped. So I think the Dolphins will take this one relatively easily, actually, especially after adding Bradley Chubb and Jeff Wilson at the deadline.
That is true. Like I said, for whatever reason, it has that weird feeling game. I don't know. That's just me though.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, a game that could be interesting. Broncos Titans. The Titans should win this if Malik Willis is able to throw. If he's still trying to stick with his rushing around and that's the only thing he can do, I don't see them winning this. But at the same time, that Broncos defense just got weaker without Bradley Chubb. So
lost a huge piece of that pass rush. I mean, that takes a huge amount off of the front line. And the Broncos still have a good defense, but it's getting to that point of the year where it's getting colder and Derrick Henry really comes into form because nobody wants to hit Derrick.
yeah.
So, I mean, unless they could stop Derrick Henry, the Titans are going to roll all over the Broncos this week.
Yeah. Yeah. Titans all the way, baby. Next up, a game that if it turns out Josh Allen doesn't have Tommy John and he's good to go, all healthy, the Bills should beat the Vikings. But if he's not healthy and he's out this week, I'm gonna roll with the Vikings. It's hard to tell right now because Josh Allen is day to day.
Who is the Bills
So
back?
Case Keenum.
Case Keenum? Ooh. I don't know.
Thing is, Case isn't really a runner, and that's part of the Bills' offense is Josh Allen being able to run and being able to do stuff.
But when you have all the running backs that you have, I mean, none of them are stars. Don't get me wrong, but all of them are decent enough at certain things where you could utilize them in the offense to make up for Josh Allen's runs. And then you still have receivers like Stephon Diggs, Isaiah McKenzie, and Gabriel Davis. And with
I know.
that offense is good to go with, I think, whoever is steering the ship. But Josh Allen is just the captain.
Yeah. So I know this is kind of a cop out pick, but if Josh Allen is in and he's playing, give me the Bills. But if Allen's out this week, I'm gonna roll with the Vikings. I know it's kind of a cop out, but it's hard to tell, like I said, when Josh Allen is day to day. So it's kind of hard to make a final pick now because it's still early in the week for NFL wise, you know? I
Yeah.
think he's still been practicing.
But
So
I put out a tweet this is also the start of, or not necessarily the start, but I've been developing a storyline lately of evil Kirk Cousins.
oh,
This
the
goes
Kirk
all the way
Cousins.
back to like when he was on Washington yelling, "You like that?" That was just the moderate version. This past Monday, when he was on the Manning cast, dude was taking shots at quarterbacks across the league. He was saying like other offenses aren't that good. And while all this is happening, this is fresh off of him being in the jet, freaking shirtless, being called absolutely strapped by McAfee.
Dude, to Kirk Thuggins.
Kirk Cousins, Kirko, might be getting too big for his own good.
Yeah.
Or is this
Yeah,
the
I see
start of
that.
Kirk Cousins becoming the greatest quarterback we ever seen now that he's got an inch, like the slightest amount of swag to make up for his shitty gritty?
And honestly though, I think you're right with he's might be getting too big for his head because he was low key taking shots at Peyton too, and Peyton like was just being an absolute professional and he was able to dodge it. But yeah, I don't know. You don't take shots at the goat without suffering consequences. One
And
of the
this
goats.
defense
Sorry.
is no joke. This Bills defense is no joke, but we also have the wide receiver matchup, probably of the week, with Jefferson
Yeah,
versus Diggs.
yeah,
This is going to be a fun one to watch.
that is going to be
On.
fun. Enough said about DeKirk Thuggins and Doug Allen. Next up, a game that first again. This is
This is just
Texans
going to be a run the
Giants.
ball game. They're going to run the ball. This is going to be basically Army versus Navy. That's what
Yeah,
we're going to see here. Like whatever the betting prop is for runs, hammer it. Hammer it. Daniel Jones, essentially a running back. Saquon Barkley, an all-star running back. Damian Pierce, a running back.
Daniel Jones, a running back.
That's what I said. Daniel Jones was the first
Oh,
running
sorry,
back listed.
sorry, my bad. Give me the Giants. Brian Dable pulling up to work. F-150 baby, built Ford tough. Give me Dable.
Yeah, we're rocking with the Giants.
It hurts to say, but they're actually a pretty decent team this year.
I mean, they're decent and they just have a soft schedule, so it's hard to go against them.
Yeah. Next up, a game that if you want to watch the Chiefs absolutely just shit on someone, Chiefs versus Jaguars, roll with the Chiefs. They're gonna absolutely fucking lay the hammer against the Jaguars. No way the Jaguars should be able to hang in there unless the Chiefs do some weird stuff like they did in week 2, I think it was. Who did they lose to early in the season? That was
The Colts.
it was
Fair.
the Colts, yeah. So unless they play like that again, which I doubt's gonna happen, the Chiefs are absolutely gonna steamroll the Jaguars.
Yeah, something that I would honestly look out for in this game is a Kadarius Toney touchdown. I don't think he got one last week, and Andy Reid likes to use his weapons.
Yeah. And so does Mahomes. Mahomes is like, besides Travis Kelce, he likes to spread the ball out.
Yeah. All
All
right, next up,
right.
we got the Saints and the Steelers in Pittsburgh at Heinz at the Ketchup Field. I'm gonna go with the Steelers on this one. I'm just
Yeah.
I'm just not a fan of the Saints really this year. I mean, unless Kamara has a crazy game, I think that the Steelers offense will be able to contain, or the Steelers defense will be able to contain Andy fucking Dalton.
Yeah. It comes down to Kenny Pickett playing decent and not turning the ball over.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to.
And with one-on-one
All
coverage,
right. With that,
Saints like to run, his wide receivers should be able to break open at least a few times.
Yeah. Because for whatever reason, the Steelers seem better without Chase Claypool.
They could be.
They could be. He might have been a cancer in the
It's,
locker room.
it's just
Who knows? We'll have to see.
also more looks for Pickens now too.
Is it me? Like, just real quick, is it me, or does it seem like this week is a week where you're gonna have to watch Red Zone besides maybe the Buffalo Giant
No. This is
Buffalo
definitely a red zone weekend.
because everything is like 10 a.m.
Especially because the 49ers are a primetime game this week. I'm red zone no matter what. So I'm
Yeah,
gonna
but they don't play till
they have red
they don't
zone.
play till
No, we're Sunday night.
yeah, exactly. But do you notice how everything is at either 10 a.m. or 1:30? Like, what
Yeah.
is like
They do that on
this
purpose.
is gonna be a red zone week.
Yeah.
Next up is another bore. Colts Raiders.
Unless Derek Carr keeps getting it to Devontae. Devontae can make this very interesting. Devontae had a crazy fucking week last week.
And if the boys from the Colts can rally around Jeff Saturday, which I don't really see happening, but you never know. You know, teams have always you always see it like
I mean, I called it with the Panthers earlier this year. They fired Rule, and I said, watch out for them against the Buccaneers. And what the fuck do you know? They beat the Buccaneers.
Or the Browns in was it 2018 when they rallied after Hugh got fired and they rallied around what's his name? And they almost made playoffs. I forget what is Kevin Stefanski?
Yeah, Stefanski.
Yeah, so like maybe the Colts can rally around Jeff Saturday, but I just don't see it because he's a guy outside of the building. You know, this is a really weird and unique situation to the Colts. Like you don't really see an interim head coach getting hired out of nowhere. Like he's not even associated with the Colts. He was coaching high school football.
He was coaching high school football in Georgia and going on ESPN.
Yeah. So give me the Raiders, but like I said, maybe the Colts rally behind him and they pull off a win. You never know.
A Raider game, or it absolutely should be.
And then okay. With that being said, next up, an absolute fucking shit show.
This could Cardinals the best game of the week or like the worst game of the week, straight up.
I think it's going to be a shit show.
I feel like these ones are always interesting. You're going to have Cooper Kupp versus DeAndre Hopkins. That's interesting on its own. But this basically is like, if you lose this week, you're kind of dead in the division because both teams are at the bottom at 3-5 and 3-6.
Yeah.
So if the Cardinals jump ahead of the Rams at 4-6 and the Rams drop to 3-7, they might be the team on the outside looking in this year.
I'm going to take the Cardinals just to shit on the Rams. That's the only reason I'm taking the Cardinals. But this is not going to be a
Cardinals because I think DeAndre Hopkins is absolutely going to eat on Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey is not the corner that he was even last year. There's been a noticeable difference.
I've always been a strong advocate for Jalen Ramsey is not him. Like I've never thought Jalen Ramsey was like the best corner in the league ever. Like don't get me wrong, he is a good corner, but I've never thought he was like everyone. I always felt he was overhyped, is what I'm saying. Like I've always felt Jalen Ramsey was overhyped. But give me the Cardinals.
Yeah,
give me the Cardinals.
We're both rocking with the Cardinals. But yeah, no, honestly, for how both teams have played, this is very up in the air. And I'd rather see the Cardinals win than the fucking Rams again.
Yeah. Next up, homecoming game for Mike McCarthy, Cowboys Packers in Lambeau.
Do you think he gets cheered? Or do you think he gets booed when he gets there? And does Aaron Rodgers shake his hand?
It's a 50-50. I think what happens to McCarthy depends on how Rodgers responded. I don't know if you listened to McAfee today, but Rodgers is what?
I did not.
Oh, so Rodgers went on McAfee today and he's like, oh, I'm gonna give McCarthy a hug, like I'm gonna welcome him back, like this, that, and the other thing. But at the same time, it's like Yeah, you can do all that, but remember all that shit talking you did when he left, when he got fired. Like, so I think it's a 50-50. And I think if he does get booed, if McCarthy does get booed when he comes on the field, it's just gonna add fuel to the fire, and that's gonna make the Cowboys rally even more. Like I'm already gonna roll with
I think the Cowboys are going to absolutely roll the Packers, but also it depends on what Mike McCarthy does pregame because last year there was a couple games where I was absolutely counting out the Cowboys, and then Mike McCarthy would go smash a watermelon.
yeah.
If Mike
McCarthy
McCarthy
is
smashes something before this game, the Cowboys are going to take it by more than 17.
yeah, like that's the one thing about having McCarthy as your coach. He is very much a player's coach. And if he can rally the troops and get them fired up, they're gonna play their hearts out for him. And the only way I could see the Packers possibly winning this game, like I don't think they will, but maybe they have a possibility, is if Rodgers just goes into God mode, like we've seen in the past. Like he goes into absolute
Yeah,
God mode and
but he
goes,
doesn't have a star receiver or big tight end that he could go to how he has in the past.
yeah. And like I've saw like lately I've been seeing like on social media that the worst decision for Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers was Devontae getting traded.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with that. Like Devontae is always going to be elite. Like if he moves on from the Raiders after his contract, like he will be elite again. It's just I don't know. I don't know. But I think that he probably should have stayed on the Packers. If they wanted to stay elite, he needed to stay with the Packers.
Yeah, that's if the Packers want to stay elite more than anything.
Yeah, but you know the Packers, they don't want to pay anybody and they don't want to sign anybody. So they're probably going to lose this week.
Probably.
Next up, that being said, next up, Chargers 49ers. Obviously I'm going to roll with the 49ers, but this game could be fun to watch if the Chargers come into this game semi-healthy. Because the Chargers right now are kind of like their team is kind of built like the Cardinals, where if they have everybody healthy, they're a very good team. But as soon as one guy gets hurt, they're not good.
See, my worst fear is that Khalil Mack just fucks up our day. Just fucks up our offensive line and fucks up our day. If that's the only thing that I'm afraid of, though. If Khalil Mack is even semi-neutralized, I think the 49ers are taking this by double digits.
Yeah. I yeah, but I'm still rolling with the 49ers, but I think the 49ers know that they don't necessarily need to win every game for the rest of the season.
We,
But in order to
I mean, not necessarily, but if we every game fucking matters at this point for how rough of a start we had.
yeah. And the boys have been getting fired up in the during practice this week. I think they're excited to come out for this Chargers game. I think they're gonna make a statement. And they're in New Mexico this week.
Oh, that's right.
Mexico City, or not New Mexico, sorry, Mexico City, baby.
Yeah.
So give me the 49ers. We rolling, baby.
Honestly, it
Choo
probably
choo.
you calling the 49ers the fucking train.
Watch. I'm calling it now. I'm calling my shot. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Choo choo, motherfucker.
All right. And then
Next
close
time.
off the week on Monday night with the Commanders versus the Eagles, another NFC East showdown.
Yeah, this is going to be, I think this could be a very interesting game to watch because you have division rivals. And I think you see this with undefeated teams. They get too comfortable. They start slacking with the little stuff, and it causes them to lose. And I could totally see them getting a wake up call this week, even though it doesn't seem like that should be a thing. Like I could see them getting a wake up call this week.
That is very true. So you're seeing a bit of a trap game, possibly.
Possibly a trap game because I mean, yes, they lost to the Vikings last week, but it was only by 3 points. And I think the Eagles and Vikings possibly the Eagles are better,
Okay, I was gonna say,
but I
I
think they're
think that
close.
is a good margin. I think the Eagles are a bit better than the than the other team.
Yeah, I guess you could
Than the
say
Vikings.
that,
I mean,
You know,
and also the Commanders give up probably the most receiving yards to opposing receivers in the NFL, I'm pretty sure, or at least they're in the bottom, like however many. So I think AJ Brown and Devontae Smith are just going to absolutely eat this secondary up this weekend or on this upcoming Monday. And it's gonna be a Eagles, it's gonna be Eagles Day.
yeah, I mean, the Eagles are just a better team. I'm gonna roll with the Eagles, but like I said, this might be a possible trap game. And I
Possible.
could see like because we've been saying it all season with these divisional games, you never know what's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
You never know what's gonna happen. And like I said, it seems like these undefeated teams, even the 15-1 Panthers, they always have that one game that for whatever reason they just lose because they get too big headed. Like they just have all the stuff that makes them think they're better than what they are. And I'm not saying the Eagles aren't good, but at the same time, you never know what's going to happen.
No, in division you never know. It's always a shootout because every team in the division is being built to beat another team in your division. So there
So
are some
yeah,
teams that aren't good, but just match up insanely well against better teams in their division for some reason.
yeah, so I'm rolling with the Eagles this week, but I wouldn't be surprised if somehow the Commanders pull out a win. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, well, that will do it for this week's predictions or preview of the. Well, that'll do it for this week 10 preview. We're now going to move on to something new. I don't have a name for it yet, but me and Morris are going to go back and forward